You've probably heard the story of Sodom, right? A city so corrupt it gets completely wiped off the map. But what if the story we all know is really just the surface? What if there's a hidden script, kind of like a director's cut, that's full of all this psychological drama that changes how we see everything? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today by looking at it through the eyes of the legendary medieval scholar Rashi.
Seriously, think about it like this. What if we could read the director's secret notes for this ancient drama? That's what Rashi's commentary is. It's this hidden script that totally reveals the motivations, the fears, the little calculations behind every single line. So, let's dive in. Let's start at the very beginning.
You see, the story doesn't kick off with fire and brimstone. Not at all. It starts with something much quieter, but man, is it incredibly tense. It starts with a simple welcome at the city gates.
So the text just says Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. It's so easy to just read right past that, right? But Rashi, he points out this stunning little detail. This was Lot's very first day as the city's chief judge. I mean, talk about a rough first day on the job.
Okay, now check this out. When the angels visited Abraham a chapter earlier, his hospitality was simple. First wash your feet, then rest. But look at what Lot does. He totally reverses it. He says first spend the night, then you can bathe your feet. It seems kind of backward, doesn't it? Why on earth would he do that?
And this is where Rashi's insight is just incredible. It wasn't about bad manners. It was a survival strategy. Lot wanted them to keep the dust on their feet. Why? So that if anyone from Sodom saw them, he could say, oh, they just got here. From the very first moment he sees them, he's already scheming, trying to protect them from his own city. And as it turns out, Lot's fears were completely 100% justified. The situation escalates, and it escalates really, really fast. I mean, the biblical text here is just chillingly specific. This wasn't just a few troublemakers. It was, and I quote, the whole assembly without exception. We're talking young and old, the poor and the powerful. The entire city was united in this one single, sinister purpose.
And this is where Rashi really drives home the true horror of Sodom. It wasn't just that there were evil people there. It was the total, complete absence of good. Not one person, not a single soul stood up and said, hey, this is wrong. The city's moral compass wasn't just broken, it was gone.
The mob is screaming, bring them out so that we may know them. So what does know mean here? Well, Rashi's commentary is blunt. He doesn't dance around it. He defines know in this context as sexual assault. Their intent was violent, it was public, and it was brutal.
So, faced with this absolutely terrifying mob, Lot makes a decision that has shocked and disturbed readers for centuries. A truly desperate, desperate bargain.
Lot actually goes out there and offers the mob his own 2 virgin daughters. He tells them to take his children in place of his guests. I mean, it is just a horrifying moral compromise, trading the safety of his own kids to protect the strangers under his roof. But here's the crazy part. The mob isn't even interested. And their response shows what this is really all about. As Rashi points out, their anger suddenly pivots and turns on Lot himself. They call him an alien, an outsider who has no right to judge them or act like their ruler. All of a sudden, this isn't just about violence anymore, it's about power.
Just as the mob is about to smash down the door and get Lot, the guests inside finally show their hand. They aren't just travelers, they are angels of judgment.
The intervention is so fast and so decisive. You can see it here, it's like 3 quick steps. Boom, they pull Lot inside the safety, boom, they shut the door, and boom, they strike the entire mob outside with a blinding light. Just like that, these guys are left stumbling around, totally helpless, the threat is neutralized.
And with Lot safe inside, they deliver the final verdict. There are no more negotiations, no more second chances. The judgment against Sodom is absolute. This city is doomed.
Now, you would think, after everything he's just witnessed, Lot would be sprinting out of there, right? But in this final act of the story, he makes a series of just baffling choices. The angels are practically dragging him and his family out of the city, yelling, "Run for your lives." And yet the text tells us, still he delayed. Why? I mean, with certain death literally moments away, what could possibly make him hesitate?
And Rashi gives us this painfully human answer. Lot lingered, he says, in order to save his property. Can you believe it? Even with fire about to rain down from the sky, A part of him was still attached to his material wealth, his house, his stuff. It was a delay that almost cost him everything.
So, after finally getting him out of the city, the angels give him one simple instruction for survival: flee to the hills. That's it, a clear path to safety.
And incredibly, Lot refuses. He just flat out says, "I cannot flee to the hills." It makes absolutely no sense. Why would you argue with an angel who is in the middle of saving your life? What's going on here?
And here, Rashi offers what might be the most profound psychological insight in the whole story. See, Lot wasn't afraid of the hills themselves. He was afraid of who lived in the hills, his righteous uncle, Abraham. According to Rashi, Lot was basically thinking, back in Sodom, compared to those guys, I look pretty good. But if I go live next to Abraham, my flaws, my sins, they're all going to be exposed. He was literally more terrified of being compared to someone truly good than he was of dying.
And that's exactly why he begs to go to the tiny town of Zoar instead. Rashi explains that Zoar was a younger town whose measure of sin was not yet full. For Lot, it was the perfect middle ground, not as wicked as Sodom, but definitely not as righteous as Abraham's camp. It was a place where he could feel comfortable, a place where he could hide in the middle. Reading the story through Rashi's eyes, it just completely transforms it. It stops being a simple tale of divine punishment and becomes this incredibly complex, messy human drama. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question. When we dig into commentary like this, are we discovering the original hidden meaning of the text, or are we actually participating in creating a new layer of meaning, enriching these foundational stories for every generation to come? Something to think about.